It was engineered in secret, then released to the public, causing a years-long uproar. Panic spread across America. People lost their jobs, and it was all in a blatant attempt to derail the Trump presidency. I'm talking, of course, about the Russian collusion hoax. For the last 4 years, John Durham and his team have been investigating to evaluate the government's response to accusations that Donald Trump colluded with Russia to win the 2016 election. His report, the Durham Report, was released on Monday. And what did we find out? Well, the headline is that Durham concluded that the FBI never should have launched a full Trump-Russia probe. He's talking about it like it was a trip to Taco Bell. Guys, we never should have ordered the super mega collusion supreme. That's the CNN headline, but it's not the spiciest stuff. First, it turns out that the Hillary campaign came up with the whole idea to, quote, vilify Donald Trump by stirring up a scandal, claiming interference by the Russian security services. It's like finding the napkin where Paul McCartney wrote yesterday, but bad. Obama, Joe Biden, and the FBI and CIA were all briefed on the fact that Hillary came up with this. I'd call it collusion, but that would make it sound like these are all separate entities. If only the Constitution said something about separation of powers, that would have stopped this whole thing. And we all remember the waste of time and money that was the Mueller investigation. Of course, Mueller didn't find any evidence that Trump colluded with Russia. Later, it came out that a lot of the supposed evidence came from, you guessed it, the Hillary Clinton campaign. Turns out Hillary Clinton got a lot more accomplished during Trump's term than Trump did. The campaign hired former British spy Christopher Steele, seen here after placing last in a mullet contest, to find anything he could linking Trump to Russia. So he made stuff up. And he had other people make stuff up. And he put it in what would become known as the Steele dossier. Many of the most salacious rumors, including the Trump P tape, were completely fabricated. Hillary came up with the idea of collusion, but I think we know where the other idea came from. I did not have sexual urinations with that woman. Durham also says that the New York Times was having meetings with the Clinton campaign on how they would like the Russia collusion story to be told. Looks like the Times is going to have to re-gift that Pulitzer. We also found out this. Durham published text messages between FBI agent Peter Strzok and FBI lawyer Lisa Page. Page says, he's not ever going to become president, right? Right? Strzok says, no, he's not. We'll stop it. So they accused him of election interference as an act of election interference. Let me think of a wild analogy. Imagine a bunch of black teens want to steal a scooter from a white pregnant woman. And in order to do so, they yell at her that she's the one stealing the scooter, and she's also a racist. I know this is a stretch, but go with me. Plus, they film it so her reputation is ruined and she's put on leave from her job. Then after it comes out that it was her scooter, it's too late and they've already won. It's kind of like that. They didn't succeed in overturning the election, but they did succeed in derailing Trump's presidency. As Aaron McIntyre said, Trump supporters felt like they were robbed of a presidency, and they were right. 3 years of Trump's term was eaten up by fighting these lies. Before COVID, this was the primary weapon they used to slow him down, and they knew it was all lies. Of course, I'm not suggesting anything like that happened with COVID. That was just science. We also found out that the FBI shut down 2 investigations into the Clintons, one into the Clinton Foundation, which is their big money laundering scheme, and another into the Hillary Clinton campaign, which was taking money from overseas. Both these investigations were squashed by the higher-ups. But Hillary wasn't in office, therefore she didn't have any power, right? Well, I'll just say the investigations didn't kill themselves. And the FBI did everything they could to slow down Durham's investigation. A bunch of FBI agents refused to even sit down with Durham. To be fair, they've been pretty busy. I hope we're all clear now. The government doesn't work the way we were taught in 9th grade civics. But as long as we think that it does, they will keep winning. The Constitution doesn't stop this. The Constitution is like the employees must wash hands sign at Taco Bell. Nobody follows it, but it makes the customers feel better. Also, double Taco Bell burn. So who gets punished for this? Well, if there really is no separation of powers, that would mean that these people would have to punish themselves. A bunch of conservatives thought that Durham was going to clean out the FBI with his toilet brush goatee. But one thing Durham didn't bring was convictions or even charges. The FBI says they've already fixed the problem and implemented dozens of corrective actions, but no one was fired. If Trump gets in, he has every incentive to disband the FBI and the people will cheer. Then every Starbucks barista in America will be phosphorescent. This isn't the first time that this has happened. It's just the first time that we've found out in this way. In the whole course of events, no one in government said, you mean we're going to lie to the American people? Hoaxes are the way they govern, and the media helps them out. And how has the media responded to Durham's report? Well, it's been mixed. Right now, all the late-night hosts are off, so they aren't around to tell me that it's no big deal. But CNN's Jake Tapper admitted the obvious.
Regardless, the report is now here. It has dropped. and it might not have produced everything of what some Republicans hoped for. It is, regardless, devastating to the FBI. And to a degree, it does exonerate Donald Trump.
The collusion hoax is also a big reason why people think of Russia as our main enemy on the global stage, which makes it easier to convince people to take sides in the Ukraine conflict. Not that we had a choice where our tax dollars were going. We've known most of this for years. It doesn't take Lieutenant Columbo. Heck, it doesn't even take Scooby-Doo. But now we have the receipts. This is the cycle. They do a bad thing. They accuse their enemies of doing that thing. It ruins their enemies. Later on, we find out about their whole scheme. And finally, nothing happens. The cycle only breaks when they don't have power anymore, and that includes people who technically aren't holding office but have sway over the government, like the Clintons. I know it's shocking, but they're not just spending their twilight years releasing ghost-written thriller novels. And remember late last year when Trump sued CNN for defamation, asking for damages of $475 million? And he might get it. Fox had to pay Dominion way more than that, and you can't say that Fox went harder against Dominion than CNN went against Trump, especially on the Russia story. The most common argument against a second Trump term has been that he didn't get enough done while he was president. But now we know why. They were willing to commit treason in order to stop him from being president. We may think we know what he was up against, but we just don't. The federal government is bloated, and it needs to spend a few hours in the can, like they just took a trip to... Yeah, that's it. This week, we also talked about that Pete Buttigieg interview with Wired magazine, the one where he talked about his love for God, beer, and his electric Mustang. But that story is only available at mycanonplus.com. Promo code WADE99 gets you your first month for just 99 cents. Link in the description, of course. Thanks so much for the support. We got more content coming soon. In the meantime, I'll see you over on Canon Plus.